Welcome to Plan, Travel, Eat, and Repeat. I'm Nicky. This is my wife, Mitzi. If it's your first time viewing our channel, thank you so much for stopping by. Hopefully we can help you. If you have any comments, questions, or anything that we can help you with, suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And if you are a return viewer or a subscriber, thank you so much, and welcome aboard. In this video, we are going to tell you our experience that we had out of the United States. We are in Cozumel, Mexico, and I had to go to the hospital. We've been out of the States for just a little while, and I had to have an ultrasound done. Okay, well, here we go. I'm at AmeriMed Hospital in Cozumel. It's my first time going into the hospital to have some services done in Mexico, and I'm going to have an ultrasound today. So I don't know what video, if they'll let me take anything in there or not. So if not, I'll let you know how it works out. Let's go. So I'm going to let Mitzi talk a little bit about how we figured out where to go and things like that, because she's a nurse and she knows what to ask. So she made the phone calls. I just kind of laid back and I was a backseat driver a little bit.
He was probably cooking dinner, let's be real.
Yeah, I was probably cooking dinner.
So probably one of the most important things to know when you're out of your home country and you're having to search for some kind of care that you may need is you can search many ways. You can search, of course, on Google. There's a lot of different expat or groups on Facebook or Instagram that you can also if you do have time, pop on there and ask some questions to them. But the most important thing is just to make sure it's a credible place and that they have the study you need. And most often these days, most other places, say in Bangkok or all of Thailand really, or Vietnam, or even here in Cozumel, a lot of the clinics and the hospitals are using WhatsApp or email to communicate. It's a lot easier than it is to communicate with doctors in the US.
So, and some communicate faster than others.
Yes. So all the quotes I got for the particular ultrasound that Nicky needed was just using WhatsApp or email to get those quotes back and time frame. And I did want to make sure and clarify that they had the exact study that he needed. And then you kind of just go from there. And so the one that we actually ended up using here in Cozumel, they didn't answer quickly through WhatsApp, but we happened to be staying close by. So we just chose to walk right in, and I asked the information desk. And within 5 minutes, maybe less, probably,
less than 5 minutes, maybe 2 minutes.
It was quick. We walked in. I said, my husband needs an ultrasound, this kind. She said, okay. I said, how much? She told me, she said, but we only do them on Friday. So again, like if you think
it was Thursday, so it was the next day we could do it.
If you think you need something, like, yes, it could be cheaper, and yes, it might be way easier than you going all the way back home or whatever, but you do just want to make sure that you start finding these things, if it's not emergent, plan in advance. So I said, great, we can wait, it's no problem. And so she scheduled an appointment the next day, 10 a.m., gave us the price, and we went on our way. Of course, at first I was like, okay, well, I hope we get what we need. I did clarify ahead of time also that they would give me, able to give me the report from the ultrasound via email or disc or something so that I could get it back to the doctor we needed to look at it in the United States.
And they were helpful.
They said no problem. They spoke perfect English, and it was easy. So we returned the next morning.
Now, wait a minute, because before, this is something else why we made that decision, because the prices fluctuate so much here in Cozumel from hospital to hospital, because we went from, it was going to cost $900 and some to all of a sudden it's $100. And I'm like, okay, I'll take the 100. But that's what it was. I mean, calling around the different places that she had contacted and emailing people, the best we got was $900 and some. So once we walked in this hospital, I mean, I was in shock that it was only going to be 100. And the people were great there. They were very nice. They seemed professional. And, I didn't know what kind of equipment they were going to use or anything like that, because I don't know anything about it in the first place. But right out of the gate, I was happy with things, definitely.
Yeah. And then I also did confirm before we returned the next day that they took cash or credit card, because sometimes the price may be different depending on how you're paying. So at least you could prepare if you want the cheapest price, you want to go get cash or whatever. They actually took both. They didn't tell me one was more expensive than the other. So I prepared both ways because I didn't want the cheapest price. So
and cash means pesos. It was going to be in pesos, right?
correct. Well, a lot of places actually here in Cozumel, they'll take American dollars and they'll just post, usually on a piece of Xerox paper, handwritten or printed out, what their exchange $1 for however many pesos is. So it might not be a great exchange rate, but again, if you're here on a cruise boat and you're stuck and you just need something, I mean, you got to deal with what you have. So anyways, I don't think we actually told them which hospital we ended up choosing, because we did reach out to about 4 on the island, but we ended up going to Merimed Hospital. It's a little bit inside town. It's not super close to the main drag. You could easily catch a taxi to it though, and it wouldn't be, too terribly much. We walked there the next day. We got there about 10 or 15 minutes before his 10 a.m. appointment.
We did, and just so you know, every hospital may have different rules here. I don't know, but when you're going to go in the back, we had to wear shoes. And
we did not.
We didn't have to wear shoes.
We did not. We had heard, we played it safe, but we had heard that if you wanted to go into the actual hospital part, if you want to go visit a patient in a hospital room,
then you have to wear shoes.
You may have to wear closed-toed shoes. I think it's an infection prevention type
because
thing.
we met somebody who had to go change from their sandals or whatever and go put closed-toed shoes on to go visit, their mother in the hospital.
But I think for a outpatient test or procedure, they're probably used to cruise people or expats walking in whatever you have, because you don't have a whole array of clothes with you necessarily. But we did arrive at a Merimed Hospital about 10, 15 minutes before the appointment. I wasn't sure if there would be a lot of paperwork to fill out. We got there. It was one simple piece, basically just with identifying information on it for Nicky. And then we didn't even wait 5 minutes in the lobby area, and they were calling him back. So they were on time. It was quite easy. We went in the exam room, and the equipment looked up to date. As up to date as what we would probably have at most facilities in the United States.
And it was clean. This hospital, I have to give it to him. Because if it wasn't clean, I'd be stressing. I'm sure I was stressed out enough just getting an ultrasound. I don't like anything medical.
Nothing.
Anything. But when I walked through that hospital, I was like, oh my gosh, they take care of this. The walls were clean. Beautiful. A+ there.
Yes. And so the radiologist came in, introduced himself, did ask if we spoke English or Spanish. Obviously his Spanish was perfect. English, took a little bit hit or miss. But again, I think he was explaining a little bit more to me just because, I'm in the business. Did exactly what we needed for the studies. And then as we were leaving, and it was thorough. I mean, we were there probably at least in the exam room. We were in the exam room over an hour getting this ultrasound. So it was very thorough. And then...
And while we were there, before you go too far, I want to talk about this doctor and some of the people that work there. Because you have to realize, first of all, people are in that field. They're in that field because they want to help people. They have a heart for people. So if English is not their first language and you're completely... you're kind of stressed out about that, or you have concerns, how am I going to communicate with these people? They're going to do the best they can. This doctor, English definitely was not maybe his first, maybe his second language, maybe he's learning it, but man, he gave it everything he got, and he was excellent with us. Excellent. I have to say, he did it. He was patient, because my Spanish is, I don't even have it. It's awful. And Mitzi does pretty good with people. But sometimes when they're speaking Spanish and they talk so fast, it's hard to, really grasp things. But I have to say, this doctor was very, very patient and took his time. And he knew that his English wasn't perfect, so he wanted to make sure that I understood what he was saying. Excellent. Very comforting. Very comforting.
And so after the study was over, he walked us back to the front desk. And on the way, I asked him, a couple of days for the report or how long. And he said, "Oh, no, I'll have it for you by today." And then told the girls in the front desk when he took us up there to just confirm our information so that he could forward the report to us. And so they could do it via email or by WhatsApp. So I told them they could WhatsApp the report. They showed me the total of the bill, which was just over $100. And then I said, "Well, cash or credit card?" And she said either, and didn't tell me one was going to be more than the other. So off I handed my credit card. They did make me show my ID, I think, because I was paying credit card. So if you do want to pay credit card, always have an ID with you.
They didn't ask for my ID, though, did they?
No, they
When
didn't.
I went to the hospital, I didn't need my ID.
No, but that whole paperwork was his name.
Yeah, I had
his
to write all my
birthday,
information on the paper,
everything.
but they
And
didn't
then the
ask for my
doctor-
credentials.
Yeah, and the doctor was actively putting that
IDs.
into the ultrasound machine before he started the test. I don't know if you saw that, but. And then we were out, and then probably less than 4 hours, I would say, or maybe right around before end of business day for sure. But I think it was like by 3:00. We had the report, and it was nice. So it comes together basically in one file that for you is password protected. So when you click on the see the report button, you put in that password and it opens up a screen. And there was 3 tabs at the top of the screen. One was patient information, and basically if you wanted to download anything, or you could just start reviewing the report and the images. And so the neat thing about this is you can actually forward that entire thing to your doctor at an email, and you can forward it with or without a password. So if you just need to forward it to your doctor and you trust where you're forwarding it to, there was a copy link at the top of the screen, and you could copy and just send the file straight to your doctor, and it gives a full written report. And we had 46 images that he had done measurements and flow and everything for the ultrasound.
And if you download it, you can download it, but you can't see. You need a certain program.
Well,
to
it's for a
open that,
medical
right?
program, so we could see the report in Spanish. And the report does only come in Spanish, but you can easily translate it, with Google. But you're forwarding it to a doctor who probably has some sort of translation services. But the actual images, you can see them on the computer. What Nikki's referring to is once you download it, if you're on a regular computer and you don't have like a PACS server, which is what hospitals use to view the images, then it's going to give you a bunch of code. But if you want to see the pictures, all you have to do is go through that WhatsApp or email link that they gave you, and you can see all the images that they gave you because you're kind of going through their system.
Now, this doctor, at the same time, he's not my regular doctor. So this is going to get forwarded to my regular doctor so he can determine if this is great or this is not great. But what was really cool about it was when I had an ultrasound in the United States, the guy that was doing the ultrasound wouldn't tell me anything. And he wouldn't tell me anything because of what?
Well, in the United States, the people who are actually doing the actual studies are technologists. They are not physical doctors that are allowed to make a final decision on what they're seeing and write up a report. So they're really not supposed to give you too much information while they're doing the study. You're supposed to wait till you get the official report from the actual radiologist doctor who's reading it.
But the guy that did my ultrasound is also a radiologist.
He was the doctor.
He was the doctor.
Yeah.
So he had opinions, and maybe it's not going to be the same exact opinion of my doctor, but I had an overview of what was going on, and it was kind of cool because as I was laying there, he would explain to Mitzi, this is what this is what this is this vessel, this is, and it was cool because it was kind of comforting at the same time that I was finding out, well, hopefully everything's going to work out, and yeah, that was really nice that I don't have to wait that much longer to hear anything from my doctor. At least I have, some insight to maybe what's going to come in the future.
Yeah. So from start to finish, I would say, there's always a little bit of research, even in the United States. If you move to a new state or you get a new insurance company, you have to change doctors. There's always a bit of, research and trying to fumble through things. But on the grand scheme of things, reaching out, just take a morning and reach out to as many places. Hey, do you have my study? Hey, how much? All this stuff. And then, go for it, because from start to finish, it was, a pretty simple process after, we realized, oh, they all communicate via WhatsApp anyway.
But we had to find out what hospital had this equipment to do this, because not all hospitals have the same equipment. And something else that you probably want to do, this was huge for us, I feel like, is if you can keep your medical files or information or whatever it is, past reports, keep a copy of them, take a photo of them, make JPEGs, put them on your phone, put them in a file somewhere. So when you go to the doctor, it was really cool, because he's asking Mitzi, hey, do you have this? Do you have this paperwork? Do you have this? And she could pull it up on the phone right there, and he could read it, so he could see, oh, this is what happened before. So it helped him out, and it was really nice. So if you have that to take with you, it could be a benefit.
Yeah, he was requesting if I had the old ultrasound report, just so he could compare and, could see what his numbers were before. So
yeah, and again, these people here, really, I mean, if they're working in that field, they've got a heart, they're wonderful. Don't be scared, because they're going to try and help you the best they can. And I have to give it to everybody at that hospital. From the time we walked in and talked to the receptionist.
Security guard first.
The security guard first. Everyone was professional and very kind to us. Very kind.
Yes. So hopefully you don't need any care outside the United States. But if you do, don't be scared. Just be ready for a little bit of research. But don't feel like just because you're not in the U.S. that no one else has good health care, because we've now been in, 3 or 4 countries easily in the last year or 6 months. And there are great hospitals everywhere that can provide you, especially with most things that you need. So good luck.
And if you made it this far and you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section. If you have suggestions for us, and if you like what we're doing, give us a subscribe. We would definitely appreciate it. And we want to thank you so much for watching, and we hope that you have a wonderful week.